Colmena Creativa Coworking es un espacio de trabajo compartido. Aquí ofrecemos el lugar, las herramientas y el networking para crecer juntos.
5 en punto o'clock, exactly. So thank you all for being here. We are now live in Facebook. So what is going to happen is this talk is going to stay on Facebook. So everyone that it's a bit late to be here on this Zoom meeting, we can join us, or through Facebook, they can also interact with us, asking questions and stuff. So I'm very happy and super glad to have here today at Caren Cooper. And also because it's our first talk in English, completely in English. So we need to start practice our English. And the funny thing and the great thing about this talk is that Caren is going to talk with us about the art of happiness. So that's what makes me the most happy woman at this moment right now, because I'm gonna get to practice my English with Caren, that you will meet her soon. She's a delightful woman. And second of all, I also gonna learn how to develop this art of happiness. So first of all, and first to give you the micro, and I would like to introduce you to the crowd, who is Caren Cooper. And I'm gonna read just a bit about what she's been doing and why is she now talking about the art of happiness. So Caren, after years of feeling stuck and being miserable and hating the way she looked in the pictures and playing the victim card, that's what she said, Caren Cooper began her health journey in September 2015, a couple of years ago. And she was amazed to find a system that worked, because most of us will for sure still, or at some point in our lives, we've felt like this, right? Like not very comfortable with ourselves, how physically and also mentally, right? So she dropped 20 pounds, it's around 10 kilos in how we measure it in Mexico, and went from being a mom, very jaded and negative, to energetic, motivated and positive mom. So that's awesome that she can now share with us the system that she used to help herself and to help others and look their best. Her mindset shifted as well. She embraced personal development and went from playing the victim to knowing she's in control of her own happiness. And that's amazing. Caren is now a wellness warrior. That is a concept that I super love, because it has all these meanings about helping people, but also helping herself. So having her as a wellness warrior to share with us all these things in order to help us to create healthy bodies, bank accounts, understanding that being healthy is not just a way of how we feed ourselves, what do we put in our mouths? It's also about what do we do with our minds and what do we put inside our mouth. So that's what is the most amazing thing about this talk, that she could realize how to develop this and how to follow this kind of system that help her to change her mindset and also to feel like she's at her best in every moment. So currently, Caren is married with 2 teenage children and live in Staten Island, New York. So welcome, Caren. Thank you very much for being here today.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate this, and I'm really grateful for you for allowing me to do this. I have a presentation. So full disclosure, I'm very real and honest. So I want to share with you guys that I do have a presentation that I will be going through. But before I give you the presentation and show you the presentation about the company that I'm partnered with, what Louisa was talking about was actually true. But what I want you guys to understand is that I had gotten to a place in my life where I was just done. It was like almost like a rock bottom type of place, if you will. And so I was ready to make that change. So when I present to you today, I want you to come from this place of don't think, oh, what is she, it's some health and wellness company and it's boring and whatnot. I get it. Like I totally understand that like you you may not, the Art of Happiness wasn't necessarily about a wellness company. I get that. But the fact of the matter is one of the huge things I realized was this, regardless of whether you have kids or not, as human beings, we need to take care of ourselves. Period, like end of sentence. And let's we'll also call out the pink elephant in the room with everything going on in the world right now.
Okay.
But just because we all know what's going on. But at the same time, what I didn't realize, because I'm a mom, because I'm a wife and everything, I was not doing anything for me. I was 100% always doing for someone else. And regardless of whether or not you have kids or not, I would think that some of you can relate to that, right? Where somebody asked you to do something, sure, no problem, sure, no problem, sure, no problem. And then all of a sudden you're like tired, exhausted, overwhelmed, whatever. So the place of health and wellness is a place of not being selfish. Self-care is actually not selfish at all, because when you take care of yourself, you feel good. And not to get too sciencey, but your endorphins start showing up and you're happier. Okay. And when you're happier, that makes everybody else around you happier. There's actually like all science behind all this. And so when somebody then says, well, can you do this? Can you do this? And you've taken care of yourself, you won't feel as overwhelmed or as miserable doing it for other people. And
Yeah,
then
and can I interrupt you in
course you
this
can,
part,
anytime.
because I really love this part that sometimes is very complicated to I don't know if download or lower your barriers about trying not to be selfish, right? Because
Yeah.
we build around this concept some kind of beliefs that can limit us in what we need in order to be okay and
Right.
great from here and physically, right?
Right. And that's why it's also important about who you are with, like who you surround yourself with and all of that stuff and what you're feeding your mind. All of these things were like things that I realized once I said yes to bettering my health, because when I said yes to bettering my health, then I'm going to present to you the company that I'm partnered with, but it came with a personal development like in it, like it's part of like the plan, if you will, for lack of a better way to put it. And I embraced it because I was willing to make that change. But there's so many people that you start to realize that you don't change who you are at the core. So I don't want people, oh my God, I'm going to do this. And no, but you change the way you see things, you view things, how you react to certain things. I had no internet this morning, for example, and my son here in New York, well, now they close schools today, but he was remote learning anyway. So I'm like, well, we have no internet. My son has to be on like the computer to actually go to school. And I unplugged the router and I could have freaked out about it. And years ago, I would have freaked out about it, to be honest. But I was like, you know what? Let me just calm down because I can control the situation. There are certain things, obviously, we can't control, but we can control how we react towards them, what we do, what we say, and that kind of a thing. And when I say it's about who you're surrounding yourself with, some of the times you don't realize who the people that you surround yourself are very toxic, very negative, and the way you feel when you're around them. I've started to take notice of how I feel when I'm around certain people, including my family. And it's very eye-opening and not always pleasant. I'm not going to lie. I'm sorry. I'm from New York. I keep it real. But at the same time, you realize what you're worth. A lot of us struggle with the self-worth thing, and I for sure do. I still do. But, so health and wellness is all encompassing. So that's why I wanted to talk about that before I did the presentation of the wellness company that I'm partnered with. What really helped me was partnering with this company because of the products and how amazing they are, number one. Number two, the community that's surrounding it. And number three, the financial aspect of it too. And the ease and convenience of all this is also really, really great, because even before everything going on, we're in a world where you can literally do anything from online anyway. But now people don't want to go out to the grocery stores. So, you can get at least food delivered to your door. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the presentation, and again, I'm reading from a script. So if I'm looking down, don't get mad. But at any point, I want you guys, if you have questions, write in the chat. interrupt me, it's totally cool. It's totally fine. And we can, it could be as interactive as you want. Also, this is a US one. So at the end, when I talk about the money, I'm just going to kind of gloss over it because it's US dollars. But I want to describe to you, I want you to go into this, honestly, I want you to go just open, just open to hearing what I have to say. You don't have to do anything if you don't want to do anything afterwards or anything like that. This opportunity is here for you. But ask yourself this question. Do I feel good? Am I living my ideal life? And whatever that may be, or if you're not living your ideal life, did you stop dreaming? Because a lot of times I think that happens too, where as kids, what do you want to be when you grow up? Oh, I want to be an astronaut. I want to, there's 40 million things that you want to be when you grow up as a kid that are either feasible or not, but you don't care because you're a kid. My son is 14 and is still was like, I want to be a baseball player. Whether or not he's going to be a baseball player, who knows? But that's what he wants to be. Go ahead. I'm like, all you just need, please have a plan B, just in case you get injured.
Just in case.
When you're 18, you can join, you can join here. But, that kind of a thing. Like, I'm not squashing the idea. So he's still dreaming. And so that's the other thing. We stop, I think, when we get to be adults, like you hear no a lot. And I'm a parent, so I recognize that I say no a lot. But you think this is what it is. This is just the way it's supposed to be, and you kind of accept things for what they are, but they don't necessarily have to be that way if you don't want them to be that way. So I'm going to start to share my screen. Okay. Oh, maybe I can hit the word share. Maybe that's why. I didn't say I was good at technology. So can everybody see the screen before I continue?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Cool
We can.
Thank you. So I'm going, like I said, I'm going to be reading from the script. So the script is going to sound different than how I sound right now, but I want you to get the full effect of it. That's why I'm doing this. So please don't hate me. So isogenics, and I'll be talking about what they are and everything like that. So just bear with me. Okay. So what isogenics did, they started with a vision to impact world health and free people from physical and financial pain, and in the process create the most trusted and respected health and wellness company in the world. Today, they provide safe and effective nutritional products that help people just like you and me look better, feel better, and live in bodies we always wanted. I'm going to stop here too. It's not just about losing weight. That's what I want to, we have, and I'm going to go through these two, but realize also health and wellness doesn't have to be about the scale. I don't like the scale. I didn't even own a scale until a few months ago when we did a challenge, in a group challenge, and I had to put a number on that. I had to put a scale. I had to put a weight that I was for the challenge. And that's the other cool thing. We do like these group challenges. So we're all in, and we put money in, and it's so fun. But I want you to realize it's not necessarily, oh, you may be thinking, oh, I don't have any weight to lose, or something like that. It's not just about weight loss. Isogenics is about healthy nutrition. First and foremost, they happen to have a bunch of different products that help you with weight loss and other solutions that I'll be going over later. So just understand that also, it's literally about feeling good. So I want to caveat all that before I continue. And this is one of the things that I love about isogenics is that it's based on their core value of integrity. They have a lot of core values, which is very important, I think, in any company, quite frankly. And really what it means is doing the right thing the right way. So the thing is, upfront, the products work when you use them, and the financial opportunity works when you do. So if you're not doing anything, you're not presenting this opportunity to people to earn money, then it's not going to work. So, but when you do, it is honestly so fun. And I know that sounds ridiculous. I get how it sounds, but it really is. It's a fun, network marketing. Honestly, I think it's a bad rap. It's not a pyramid scheme, because I know that's what y'all thinking, but it's really not. It's illegal, by the way, no matter where you are. But you're with people who will support you, who will love you, who will call you out on your stuff. So if you're not doing something, they'll be like, well, what have you done today? Have you done this, that, and the other thing? And it's really a phenomenal community. And you can really, it could be anything you truly want it to be. You know, it could be a bill that you hate to pay. It could be, I don't want to work anymore and I want to replace that income. It could literally be anything you want it to be. See, I'm sort of reading from the script, sort of not. So they have solutions. That's what I'm saying. They have solutions for everything. But I want to ask you guys, and you don't have to answer if you don't want to, but again, you can think about all these things, all these questions that I'm asking. Have you had resolutions, or do you currently, it's almost January, it's almost the new year, if you can act, I can't even believe that's so crazy to me. But anyway, I think we've all had resolutions at one point or another, right? And the resolutions are the same every year because everybody has them. They want to lose weight, improve finances, get a new job, eat healthier, manage our stress better, all that. And let's be honest, in 2020, we could all use something to manage the stress. Let's just be honest. You know, but the thing is, I found this a very interesting fact personally, that if you, they've actually remained, these 5 have remained the top 5 for years. So like that completely dumbfounded me, quite frankly. So for years, people have had the same resolutions all the time. Okay, so think about that.
And even struggling with them, right? Like not achieving them at all.
Oh, 100%. So I mean, here in the States, let's go back, you know, to 2019 when we could like live our lives and not have to worry. January 2nd, the gyms would be packed. Like, because I belong to a gym, I work out at LA Fitness because I do like Zumba workouts and boot camp workouts and stuff like that. So I was already a member. So I would walk in and they'd be like, you couldn't get on a machine if you tried. Like, no, I'm not even kidding you. And then by March, it was like 5 people left.
It happens the same here, you know, Mexico, it happens the same.
You know, so it was, you know, people want, you know, because what I realized in my own personal journey, to be honest, and I mean, let's be honest, how many of us have dieted, right? I mean, you know, and by the way, I found this interesting too, and I actually did a post about this today. Diet has the word die in it. Like, did anybody ever, like did anybody, and healthy has healed. I thought this was so interesting, but diet is also a mentality. So diet is, to me, and I actually have read this too, you're depriving yourself. You're saying, I can't have this. And I think that's why a lot of the times the resolutions are hard to stick with, because let's be honest, it's not easy and you have to do the same thing all the time. And if you don't have a support system or an accountability partner doing things with you, then you're obviously more likely to not do it. Okay. But when you're dieting, you're like, oh, wait, I can't have this, I can't have that, I can't have whatever. But with a healthy lifestyle, first of all, I say it's a lifestyle, not a life sentence all the time. But it's also a matter of what I like about isogenics, and even just the lifestyle mentality is it's about balance. Okay. So like, I literally live for ice cream cake on my birthday. Every year on my birthday, I have Carvel ice cream cake. Every year. Love Carvel ice cream cake. And I will be having it again on Monday when it's my birthday. But that's the point. I can have that piece of cake because I live a healthy lifestyle, because it's not about depriving yourself. It's about understanding that even doing this program, especially, I can have my couple of shakes and I can have my healthy meals. And if I have a piece of cake, it's not the end of the world. So that's also where the personal development and the community and all of that comes into play. So there's that. So these are all things that I didn't know. Okay. And I'm not a scientist by any stretch of the imagination, but it's just simple. It's just simple. I don't want to say it's just simple, but it's just when you're open to hearing and doing these certain things, you realize it's really not so bad. And it's really not that challenging to do, especially when you have in place. What I love about this, like I said, the community, but you're getting the one-on-one. So let's say, yep, oh my God, Caren, I love it. I want to join you. And you sign up, you get me, or you get, you know, or you sign up with someone else. And then you have this whole community behind you. And we tell you what to do. good, bad, or indifferent. You know what I mean? And I think sometimes we actually really need that, to be honest with you, in a good way. So, our vision is basically that everyone needs to deserve to live a healthy, joyful, and abundant life. That's why I like it too, because it's really all about abundance, health, and everything like that. Isagenix is actually a trusted and respected family-owned company since 2002. They're in 26 markets globally. That's also amazing. What I love about them, they're expanding everywhere because they really want to reach the world. It's a gift we want to give to the world. That's really what this boils down to. We want to help people reach their own personal resolutions, whether their resolutions were physical, financial, or both. Okay, and here's the thing, 300 individuals who have earned more than 1 million cumulatively. And I know, and by the way, they give away to charity, which is also a favorite thing of mine. And I know $1 million, and this is US dollars, but at the same time, and I know that sounds like a ridiculous number and like not feasible, but I want you to think about it this way. But what if it is? Because it really is feasible. And if you don't want to make $1 million, that's cool too. But know that that's on the table. Because the truth of the matter is that it's not really anywhere else necessarily on the table that you can make $1 million. I mean, one of my teammates has made $5 million. Again, caveating US dollars, but she's doing this 8 years. I mean, that's a lot of money. And she's in her 30s. A lot of money. So again, a little or as much as you want. Okay. And like I keep saying, we want people to eat better, feel better, look better, move better, and do better. And we're simply better together. And like I keep saying, I talk about the community a lot because it's one of my favorite parts about it. We can't have live events, obviously, but we've had events online. And even online, they're magnetic and they're fun. And people like you drank the Kool-Aid, like it's a joke, like you drink the Kool-Aid, but you do, like the way you feel, even though these events aren't in person, it's magnetic. And it's almost like I can't believe, and me personally, I said no for 4 years before I said yes. 4 years, not like months, years. And I was like, I can't believe I said no because I didn't know
Maybe later you are going to get to that point. What make you say yes?
Okay.
I mean, I don't. If you want to answer right now, it's okay. I don't know the.
No, I can tell you now. I mean, so the people that I had worked out with, the instructor had been given the gift of the opportunity, and she was sharing with the whole class. And I at the time I worked full time, and my kids were younger. My kids are now 19 and 14. So 9 years ago, they were like 9 and 5, 10 and 5. My father had just passed away. So what happened with me was my father passed away 9.5 years ago. I had quit. I started exercising, and then I quit smoking a year later. And I still wasn't feeling great. When you quit smoking, you're supposed to feel good and whatnot. So I was watching all these people that I worked out with lose weight, look phenomenal, and start paying off bills, start paying off mortgages. I mean, like, and these are people who had kids, and one person quit her corporate job. Now, I've always worked. So I had my daughter 19 years ago. I had her August of 01, and I went back to work November 1st. So August, and then 9/11 happened here, and that was hard. And I worked in Manhattan. So I had to go to Manhattan every day. So I've always worked. And then after I had my son, 4.5 years later, I was home for 20 months, and then I had to go back to work again because I hadn't earned an income. So at this point, I wasn't soured on corporate yet. And I'm not knocking corporate America, by the way. Let's also say that. But it wasn't for me anymore. And I worked up until March, to be perfectly transparent too. I mean, I was working in corporate America and doing this on the side. That's the other thing. But I finally had enough. Like, I was just like, wait a minute. If these people are working and they have kids, and some of their kids were kind of the same age as mine too. I think that's what it was too. Like, why can't I do it? I don't know, because I always kept saying I didn't have the time. And so I was like, you know what, let me give this a try. And honestly, it was like shiny object syndrome too. I was like, well, wait, they're doing it. I kind of felt left out. Like, I know that sounds weird, but it was true. And so what I came to realize was within like the products within like 3 days, I was like, whoa, I felt really good. The business part of it, even though I signed up for both initially, because you don't have to necessarily do the business right away, I wasn't sure about. I didn't know what I didn't know. But I dived into it because I was like, wait a minute, my kids aren't cheap. Living in New York isn't cheap. So I was like, okay, this could help with something. My at the time, both my kids were my daughter softball, my son baseball. So that's kind of how it started for me. What I came to realize, by the way, fun fact, I watched a lot of TV. Just putting that right out there. I mean, I was like watching TV, and if I wasn't watching TV, I was taping it, and then I was watching what I was and like, God forbid, like my kids had a game, I was like annoyed because then I was missing a show, and then I have to figure out a way to like this was true story, like I'm not even lying. And so it was bad. Like I revolved, and the funny thing is I used to work in the advertising industry, so it's the insanity of it all is not lost on me. But that's why I started to say yes. And what happened was, that's when you realize that you start taking inventory of what you're doing on a daily basis. I was also traveling on a bus to Manhattan. So why couldn't I listen to a podcast? Why couldn't I make a phone call? You know what I mean? It was like, you think you don't have time in a day, when one of the women on my team. So for me, let me go back to me. For me, I gave up the TV. So I was like, well, I don't need, it suddenly became more important to me to work this business and to gift this to other people than to watch TV. Not to say I don't watch any TV, but I don't watch the amount of TV that I used to watch is like unbelievable. Like unbelievable. Like every night I had something. And so now I kind of pick and choose what I watch. Lately, my obsession is TV, the Food Channel or whatever. And so that's kind of how it kind of right? I'm up like Chopped, like anything, Guys Grocery, get anything with timed food things. I don't know. It's like a huge obsession of mine now. So that's how I started, and that's how I began. But because, again, and here I am 5 years in, to be perfectly transparent, I'm not a millionaire, and I'm not making six figures yet. That's my goal, because I didn't put the work into it, because I was like, it was to me, and I was doing it while I worked full time. I worked in corporate America up until March. So I wasn't putting into it what I wanted to put into it at that moment, and now I'm going full force in it. So like that's where the doing it, doing it and making the money comes in. But I was always taking the products. I've never not taken it. In 5 years that I've been doing this, I have, we have our shakes, which I'll talk about shortly. I have a shake for breakfast every day. And I also wasn't a person who ate breakfasts. And years ago, I also here in the States, we had something called Slim Fast. Like every kind of weird, like Atkins, like any kind of weird, like diet thing that came out, I was all for it. Weight Watchers, Smart Ones, I ate for lunch all of the time. Frozen Weight Watchers, Smart Ones were my staple lunch all the time. And I thought I was healthy. By the way, has a ton of salt. Fun. Had no idea. But you know what I'm saying? Like, I thought this was healthy, and I wasn't working out or anything like that. I started, like I said, 9 years ago, I started doing the Zumba, and I've been working out consistently since. I mean, I belong to a gym and everything like that. And part of being healthy, exercising is part of it because it helps. There was a person who I know on LinkedIn who she lost 45 pounds. But she didn't exercise at all. And her blood pressure was high and something else was high. I don't remember what she said. And she didn't want to take medications. And she's like, what can I do? And he's like, exercise. And so now she's starting to just walk, even for just 10 minutes. So don't let any of these things scare you and be like, those are bad words. Because these are just things that will help you anyway, regardless of whether or not you join me or not. It's just helping you feel all the things that Isogenics is about. Doing all of these things, walking and just all that stuff is just helpful anyway. So, I keep talking about, are you living your best life? And, think about that. Maybe you are, and that's really, really cool. But maybe this could be, you know what? I also want you to start thinking, because I'm going to go into talking about the money soon, but who do you know who can possibly benefit from this? Even if it's just 2 people, think about to yourself, is there anybody in my life who can possibly benefit from being healthier and earning some additional income? It's literally as simple as that. Then think about that as I kind of go through this. Okay. So, like we discussed, it's all about eating better, looking better, feeling better, moving better, all of these things. And it keeps going at any age. Okay. And it's about making choices. It's about belonging to a community. It's about all of those things. But I want to talk about something that's interesting. Okay. What I like about isogenics, you know what? Here in the States, you can go to GNC, there's protein shakes kind of everywhere. I get this asked a lot, what's the difference between, and I don't knock anybody else, because here's the thing. It's all about doing your research and doing what's right for you. There's no one size fits all. There's none of that. And so please, don't think, oh my God, I have to do that. You don't have to do anything. I'd love for you to join me. I love doing this. I love sharing this with others. Maybe you can't tell. I'm kidding. But what I really like about isogenics, I'm not a very sciencey type of person. It's just not in my DNA. I like other people doing the research for me and then telling me all about it. I'll be honest. But what I do like about isogenics is that they're no compromise. Okay, they are backed by science. They're nutritionist approved. They use only dairy protein cows. They're never treated with routine antibiotics. Their products are made with natural ingredients. They don't use artificial flavors, colors, or sweeteners. And they're gluten-free. So that's one of the things I like. They're gluten-free. Some of them are kosher. Like, they're really adhering to, because a lot of people have gluten issues now and, stuff like that. They have plant-based options as well. So they have whey-based and plant-based options, because a lot of people can't necessarily have the dairy. So that's what I personally like about them, even though I'm not a sciencey type of person. I like the fact that they care. They don't want to just make something and send it to you and make it schlock and be done with it. Sometimes I feel also, here's the other thing, and I feel about this with like sneakers or like clothing sometimes too as well. Sometimes you have to pay top dollar for something knowing it's going to last longer than if you spent $20 on something. This is a conversation I had with my mother forever, because my son, God bless him, both my kids have very expensive taste, quite frankly. And she's 19, I'm telling you, killing me. But his sneakers, but my kids wore sneakers all the time, every day, every single day. Like, there was no other shoe my son wore. So, and even in school, like, he didn't wear like a shoe or a loafer or anything. So I said to my mother, I'd rather spend, and Nike's Air Jordans here in the States are like $100. Like, they're not cheap. But I'm like, but they would last him for like 5-6 months. So, and he was wearing them every day. So I'm spending that $100 almost, it's the same thing with isogenics, up front, right? And it's lasting me all of this time. And how is it also making me feel? And he would literally like have holes in his shoes. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, his sneakers this past summer, he legitimately had holes in his sneakers, my son. So that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of times, oh my God, the money. But that's also a mindset shift that you have to make as well. Because, listen, to be perfectly transparent, like I said, I keep it real. I was never financially sound. We were not very smart with money in my house. Okay. But what I realized also, I didn't have a very good relationship with money. And I know that's entire sentence is ridiculous. I get it. But it's true. And so that's the other thing. It's funny how I know I'm talking about all these things, and I know this all literally came out from me doing this program. So it's almost like therapy in health, but it's a good thing, because it's making me reevaluate things that I have held on to for so long for no apparent reason other than that's just the way it was. And making me realize, but it's also, in my case, I have kids, so maybe you have children, but now they can realize certain things. And even the way I talk to them, am I perfect? Nope. Do I yell at my kids? Yep. Not going to lie about it. And even on social media, I try to talk about the good, bad, and the ugly, because not every day is rainbows and unicorns. That's not real life. It just isn't. I get that. But I try to very hard. My husband thinks I live in like a Pollyanna world. Like, he thinks I live in a bubble. We have arguments all the time because he's like, you're not looking at the numbers. I'm like, I'm not living in the fear of what's going on. I'm working my business and I'm sharing the love of the gift of it. And the people who are ugly on social media, that is what it is. And that all comes from doing this. I know, again, I get it. I know what you're thinking. I was that person too. I really thought the people who, the 4 years I said no, I thought they were nuts. I swear to God, I'm not kidding. I was like, there's no way, I didn't understand it until I was ready. It's the same thing when I quit smoking. I had smoked from the time I was 16 till the time I was 42. No joke. I'm going to be 52 on Monday, fun fact. Okay, no joke. That's how long I smoked cigarettes for. And I was done. Like, how did I quit? And nobody thought I would quit, by the way. People would have bet money that even when I quit, I'm sure there was money on the table, whether or not it was going to continue, whether or not she was actually going to quit and stay with it. Haven't had picked up a cigarette in 8 years, by the way. And I don't say that to toot my own horn, but my point of the matter is I was done with smoking. So I made it my effort, and I made it my point to quit and to continue that effort. I don't even have an desire for cigarettes. So that's the point about getting healthy and even doing something like this. I was ready to do something different. I wanted something different from my life. And this opportunity presented itself. Well, for 4 years, and I finally said, you know what, maybe I'm also very stubborn. So the main product of Isogenics is our shake. Okay. And the shakes have a lot of things going on in them, which is good things, by the way. Spinach, kale, 24 grams of protein, and it supports muscle building and fat burning. And like I said, they're available on dairy and plant-based options. Literally takes seconds. I pour 8 ounces of water into a shaker cup, 2 scoops, and I shake it up. People make it with ice and it's like a smoothie or something like that. It's the easiest, most convenient thing. And if you never had breakfast before, like for someone like me, I never had breakfast. I was starving till at like 11, and I'd have some sort of crappy snack because I didn't want to have too much before lunch. Then I'd have like whatever lunch. And when I was first working in Manhattan and I was really poor because I made no money, I was having like frozen yogurt and pretzels. Like, no joke. This was like lunch. And then I'd have some sort of crappy snack and then dinner, whatever dinner was. I mean, sometimes dinner was cereal. I'm not even kidding. So my habits were horrendous. I mean, honestly, they were bad. But I was like, I don't know if I can eat. I don't know if I can do this. And a lot of times, let me also talk about this because I'm going to talk about a couple other products, but people, do you chew food and all this? Yes, you do chew food. You do have food as well. It's 2 shakes a day, some snacks, and we also provide snacks, but and you're eating food along with it. These are places, think about it this, how many times do you go out and buy yourself lunch? Just out of nowhere. You're right? Or if you're working, you forget lunch. I used to forget lunch all the time. I used to buy lunch constantly when I was working. Okay, constantly. Or you're out and about, even on the weekends, when you're out and about and you're like, you don't carry a meal with you, or most don't anyway. Maybe you do, and that's cool. By the way, if you do, kudos, because I never did. But never once. I mean, my son still plays baseball, but then before this, we would find the fast food restaurant after his game, and when there was literally a Wendy's right by his field, and that's where we would eat dinner. And by the way, then I would get the salads. But I was eating Wendy's. I was doing all of that stuff. The fast food was real in my house. especially when you're running around working for all of it. Like, I get it. And even on the weekends, you're doing a million things. If you're, you have to go food shopping. I have this, I have that, and the other thing. Oh, there's a McDonald's. Oh, let me get a sandwich. You're just grabbing whatever, right? You don't have to when you're on this program, because we have, you can literally packets. It comes in packets, and you're just having a bottle of water, and there you go. It's easy peasy lemon squeezy. Yes, I went there. So the other thing that we have here, which I love, is cleaning the body from the inside out. Intermittent fasting is like a huge, huge buzzword now. Okay, but Isogenics has been doing it since 2002. And what I like, and what it really is that, fun fact, it's one of the most searched for topics on the internet. So between all the resolutions and intermittent fasting, Isogenics like has you covered, just saying. But you're not fasting per se. So it's a cleanse drink, and you have like there's like a whole sort of schedule that you have. But what the cleanse does, it's not that kind of cleanse. Don't worry, people. It cleans you from the inside out. So think of it like an oil change, literally. So you change the oil in your car, right? You fix it. Like, that's the other thing I think people don't realize. You take care of how many things in life. If you have a car, you take care of your car. You pay your rent. Wherever you live, you make sure you take care of your house by cleaning it and doing all that stuff, right? Wherever apartment, whatever it may be. You have a pet, you make sure you take care of the pet. We like literally never think of ourselves, and we never think of it and you think you're healthy when you're really not. That's the other thing I think a lot of the times. So this is really cool because it cleans you from the inside out. And we have various ways in which you can do it. There's a 1 day, you can do it 2 days, or you can do it daily. So at some point, you're always kind of helping yourself, if you will. Now, talked about stress. We all know we are. We know that, okay? And while wine and alcohol is great, if that's cool. But you get the after effects of that sometimes, let's be honest. This is called Ionics. We call it liquid gold. Like, really, that's what we call it. But it's from adaptogens. And even if you're a lot like me, there's ashwagandha in there and all these weird words in there. It's really a plant. And I'm going to read to you. It's a stress-busting beverage your body will love, and it has herbal adaptogens that will help your body better handle the negative effects of stress while improving your mental focus and physical performance too. So this is why we call it liquid gold, because you take 2 ounces of this, and you could do this twice a day. And listen, are you going to be completely stress-free? No, but it help you manage it for sure. For sure. So even in 2019, there's always something stressing us out. It's how we react to things, whatever it may be. It doesn't matter. Okay. So this, honestly, I mean, seriously, and if we're stressed, we're like, like literally all the time. Everybody on my team, like, we joke about it. It's like the best invention ever. So we also have other snack options and things like that. And one of the other things I want to talk about is our vitamins. Okay, because I personally didn't take enough vitamins, and I'm sure a lot of you don't. Or you take a 1 a day, and or you take a lot of different vitamins to really kind of and get everything you're supposed to get on a daily basis, right? So it's like you have 40 different vitamin bottles, and you're spending the money anyway. So we have vitamins that come in AM and PM packs, which is so cool. So it's like, it literally kind of tells you exactly what to do. There's omega-3, there's fatty acids, and it supports proper muscle function, immune function, and healthy skin. So it's literally like Botox in a box, if you will. So that's the other important thing I think we forget about too. Okay. And we have, like I said, solutions for sort of everything known to man. And I know, if you like me, this was like whatever, but I do want to share with you that it's scientifically validated compared to the heart healthy diet. So it's important to know that they put a lot of love and care into what they do and the products that they provide to others. And I think that's really, really, really important. Okay. And by the way, not to say you can't enjoy, I mean, we just had Halloween here in the States. I ate my son's Halloween candy. Just letting you know. So in any age, okay, because don't think you can't. Like, don't think, oh my God, I just slice of pizza. What am I going to do? It's not the end of the world. That's the beauty of this and the mindset is like, okay, so you know what? Yeah, I'm going to plan for it. Even if you don't, you know the routine, if you will, of what to do. So it's not that big of a deal if you just like, you don't plan for it. You have whatever meal that you weren't planning on. Here, next week here is Thanksgiving. There will be a lot of consuming of a lot of things. And so what? So what? So you drink a lot of water the next day, or you do a cleanse. That's the beauty of the cleanse that we have. You know what I'm saying? So like, it's so simple and it's so easy, and it's just, and you can always ask somebody if you don't know. Okay, because we don't be like, well, no, you can't. We're all here for you. So literally at any age, 20s, 30s, 40s. I mean, look at this. Now, these are the way people want it to be. You can do with this anything you want to do, even if it's not, like I said, weight loss. These people just happen to want to lose weight. They wanted to bulk up or anything like that. One of the other really cool, fun things that we do here too, is we have something called the Ice of Body Challenge. People actually can enter this challenge and they can win money. They have like a bigger Ice of Body Challenge that you could enter if you want, and in the events, and people can actually earn like $25,000. But these small ones, what all this basically is, all those transformations that you saw, hey, what Isagenix is all about giving back to you. It's all about how they could make you healthier, how they can make you wealthier, how we can support you, how we can help you, all of these things. And they care what we have to say too. But this is really cool because what this does, it also helps you with your commitment level when you enter the Ice of Body Challenge. So you take your book, and by the way, this is for no one else. You take your before pictures, you upload it into a portal that they give you. Okay. And only Isagenix people can see it. And then you order the products for 16 weeks and everything like that. And then at the end of the 16 weeks, you upload your after pictures. And they may, if you want to do the bigger challenge, they ask you for an essay. And that's literally it. That's it. And then you get $200. Like, no joke. So you upload the, and like, I'm not kidding when I tell you, I'm in the middle of one at the moment. So the last time I finished one, and then when you finish one, if you want, and you can enter it up to 3 times because it's 16 weeks. So it's like 3 times a year. Okay. So when you finish one and you upload your transformation pics, you can then use those after pics as your beginning pics for the next one. I mean, it's literally the best thing ever. And I kid you not, I uploaded the pictures. I submitted everything, and either that night or the next morning. But within not even 24 hours later, I had the $200 coupon in my, what we call the back office. And then I have $200 to spend on whatever product I wanted. It was insane. And a lot of times they come out with limited edition shakes and stuff like that. So if it came to that point too, I could wait and hold on to it for a certain amount of time. It's really, really, really cool. So I wanted to share.
You know what I like about what I'm hearing is that it's beyond the products, right?
Right.
It's helping you to get to you are shifting, or you are going to that mindset that you want to get better or to be better.
Mm-hmm.
And it has all the tools, moreover, the values or the core
Mm-hmm.
values of the company, but all these kind of tools that will help you to,
right.
Using the products, but also like get there the easiest
exactly.
way, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing. And listen, I'm going to, at the end, I didn't do a slide, but I'm going to put in the chat and of how you can, reach me and stuff like that. So if you don't want to do anything, I know people are on Facebook Live or in the Zoom or something like that, and you're like, you don't want to say anything, but you have other questions, by all means, I'm here. I'm only an hour ahead of you. So it's not like I'm, it's not that hard to get in touch with me. So here's what I want to talk about, the other thing too. So in the beginning, we talked about resolutions and we talked about dreaming, and I asked you to think of 2 people that and things like that. And the thing is, here's the other thing I want you guys to think. How many times do you go somewhere and it's really, really good? And then you're like, oh my God, then you go, you tell all your friends about it, wherever that may be, right? Or the opposite end of the spectrum, it was really, really bad. And you tell your friends about it anyway. Don't go there. Either way, you're sharing this information with friends. Literally, that's what network marketing is sharing information with friends. Are people going to think you're insane? For sure. Who cares? Maybe it's not for them. But again, like me, go back to me, 4 years. And I worked out with these people 2 to 3 times a week. Okay. There are so many people that has happened to it because it may not have been in the right time to start something like this. One of the women on my team, she was an accountant. She had 2 kids, travel baseball. She worked like 65, 75 hours a week. She worked a lot of hours. And when she did, she said so again, she managed her time, which she did on her drive to work, her lunch hour, that kind of a thing. Okay. And that's what she was doing. She was just sharing this with others. And here's the other thing. If you are doing this for health reasons or for weight loss, what's going to happen is people are going to start noticing difference in you. You're going to change whether you like it or not, to be honest. Okay. But I'm a very sarcastic person by nature. That hasn't changed. So don't think you're going, like your core being of who you are is going to change. It's not. I'm going to repeat that. Like I said earlier, it's really not. I have a ridiculous sense of humor. I literally, if you friend me on Facebook, every day I do a dance break. Like I play a song on Alexa and I just dance on Facebook Live. No joke. Okay. And I would be doing that 5 years ago before I started Isogenics anyway. So none of the core being of who you are changes, but there's you're open to so many new and different possibilities. You know, somebody goes somewhere that you've never been and they describe it for you. Oh my God, we did this, that, and the other thing. And in your head, you're like, oh my God, that sounds so great. I really want to do that. That's what network marketing is. It's like that. And that's what you're doing when you're talking to other people. You're sharing this with them and painting the picture of what their life could be like if they have this in their life. And they have the people also that are in this company in their life. So there are a lot of slides that talk about the money, which I'm not going to necessarily go into because I feel like that also it's like a lot of information. But think about it this way. One of the things I do want to say is I know for sure here, you know, it's the schooling of when you get older, you go to a good college, then you get a good job, and then you make whatever amount of money you make. I mean, here on the slide, it's, $100,000 per year. And that's it. The thing with a regular job sometimes is like your money is it's capped out. And your raises, I mean, I didn't get a raise in one job because for no reason. Like they thought I didn't do certain things, which I was doing. So it's, you know what I mean? Again, I'm not knocking corporate America at all. So please don't get mad at me and call Louise to be like, who is this chick? Don't do that. But I'm saying it may not be right for some people, and that's okay. And I joke that I'm going to write a book and call it Who Said, because I feel like somebody, right? Because years ago, somebody said something, and all of a sudden here we are in 2020 and still doing the same thing. And I'm not talking about religion, by the way. I'm just talking about in general. Like, who said you have to go to college and get a good job? Like, who decided that was supposed to be the way of the world? And so we've been following it all of this time. And that's, I've always been the type of person who applauds the underdog and who likes people who kind of buck the trend, if you will, because I'm like that too. I just don't understand why sometimes it has to be done a certain way. Sometimes it just is. Sometimes you have to do it that way to get from point A to point B. I understand that. But if there's other different ways, why not? And sometimes the other thing is you have to it's not necessarily a straight line. Even if you're supposed to do this to this to get from point A to point B, maybe I don't compute that way. Maybe my brain doesn't operate that way. So I have to make a circle to get to point B. You know what I'm saying? It's just everybody is so different and that kind of a thing. So and this is the other thing. You can do this when you have a full-time job or part-time, or whatever it is, when you have a job, because I did for 5 years. So you just have to make the time and figure out in your life where you're going to fit it. we're living in a world now where there is a gig economy, okay? And where people are looking to do side hustles or whatever you want to call them. It doesn't matter if it's isogenics or not. Prior to 2020, this was going on. And what we have seen, what I've seen personally, I know a lot of people in different network marketing companies. Rodan and Fields is a skincare one, and stuff like that. And what I've seen is an influx of people joining network marketing companies, because what 2020 has proven, if nothing else, which is a lot of things, but if nothing else, that nothing is guaranteed. Jobs are not guaranteed. Earning in money the way you normally would is not, it's just not. That's a harsh reality that I think a lot of us have to face. And so I've had conversations with healthcare workers, with teachers, and just regular folk who are, you know what, even if they still have their job, they're just tired. They're just tired of it being the same thing every day, all day. And they want something different. It's not necessarily so much that it's better. It's just different. Okay. And this was an interesting slide, I thought, that I can show you even still, is that even when you make here in New York, I mean, these are like 5 of the biggest cities. When you make like $100,000 here in New York, the cost of living is so high. Even just, I live in a townhouse. I'm connected on both sides. Okay. And it cost me a lot of, I don't want to say a lot of money, but it cost me money. And and my house is like tripled in value since I bought it 22 years ago. I bought it when I got married 22 years ago, which is ridiculous. And I'm not saying that because, oh my God, but that's my point. I mean, I look on, we have Zillow, and I look on Zillow because I just find it fun to look at houses and stuff, because one day I'm going to be like, okay, I have a vision board, and I'll talk about that in a minute, but like, because I want a certain house with a pool and everything like this. And actually, I know I'll get it, and I'm like, the houses are like $1 million. I'm not joking when I tell you $1 million. And I'm like, for what? And they're building here on like every piece of land that's open. So you don't have a backyard. I mean, no, this is what I'm saying. So everything costs so much money. So even if you're making a really good income, the cost of living may be that much higher that you're still not coming out ahead. Or even if you are, let's just go back to the other side. Even if you are coming out ahead, in 5 years, when you retire, do you have enough to live? Everybody's living longer anyway, right? So do you really have enough money to live long? Because even Social Security, I mean, I would think a lot of us the answer would be like, nope, you don't. So this could be a way to kind of facilitate that. And the beauty of this too, it can be done from literally anywhere. Okay, people are on vacation doing this. You literally need your phone or computer, and that's it. It's like, no kidding. And that's why I think a lot of people are doing that too, because here, I mean, you guys were locked down too. You're remote. You're working from home. So now you're working your corporate job from your home. I mean, this is my bedroom I'm in at the moment. I did have, by the way, I tried to upload a picture. Full disclosure, I'm like, okay, I'm going to upload a picture, because even though my townhouse, there's nowhere for me to be with like a plug that and then my office is in my room. I was like, oh, I'm going to upload a picture because I can't do this talk, and I did, and you couldn't see me. So I was like, well, this is real life. But this is real life. But that's the other thing too, that even in corporate, people are realizing it used to be, well, you can't have kids on the Zoom and everything. You know what I'm saying? They were so rigid about certain things. And now with everybody having to be home and working from home, it doesn't matter if a kid is on the Zoom or wherever they may be in their house, because at least they're doing something. So something like this, something like network marketing, could be done pretty much anywhere you go. And anybody you talk to. I mean, we're in 26 countries, so you can go certain places. Let me tell you where we are. Oh my God, and there's always somebody who wants something more. It doesn't matter. It does. I feel like, see, most people are trading time for money. That's the other thing. And I was doing that. I was 100% trading time for money. I was working my 40-hour job. And for what? honestly. So I had a full-time job, and then I had lost my job 2 years ago, and then I was doing what we call here a freelance position. So it's basically a contract position, and my contract ended March 31st. Like, it happened to be the same time the world ended, my contract ended. I couldn't make this up even if I tried. It's like a true story. But like, so I was like, well, so that's when I decided to do this full time. And then I realized so many people aren't working, or so many people. I know somebody who had a job and quit her job because she couldn't take it anymore. So like, there's so many people, and even if you're not in that realm, that's fine. But what would an extra $50 do for you? What would an extra $100 do for you? It could be as little as that. I mean, who do you invite when you get married? Who do you invite to a party, right? So, oh my God, I don't know anybody. You do. You do know people. You know what I mean? And so why would you want to do it with us? Okay, why? Is there a dog? I'm totally distracted by the dog right now.
Yeah, sorry. It's
Sorry.
Chabela. It's Chabela, a Great Dane. It's gigantic.
Like I'm like a child, but totally distracted by a dog. But anyway, why partner with us? There's no overhead, employees, or inventory, and you're eating. So there's no overhead. So when you get paid, here's the other thing. Maybe you start Isogenics and you just want your products paid for. That's the other thing about doing this. So you can earn that money to get your products paid for. You don't need any degrees. You can work from anywhere. There's no caps, okay, on the earning potential. There's time flexibility. So it's not like, oh my God, do I have to spend 8 hours doing this? If that's what you want to do, go right ahead. Go ahead. But the other beauty of this too, and let me personal development and growth, huge. That for me is a huge, huge thing. I love reading now. I started doing journaling. How many times do you get it? How many of you wake up in the morning and scroll your phone? You know you do. You're not answering me, but I know how many of you. I'm calling you all out. I was one of those people too, so I know it. Okay, but I started listening to like podcasts and things like that, and I started a morning routine of actually, and that's the other thing when you're doing personal development and growth, you find other things that you want to be a part of. So it happened to be a teammate of mine, but she did this like self-love thing on Facebook, like literally it was just all these things, and she's one of the things she asked us to do is write 10 things you love about yourself. And by the way, I found that harder than it really probably should have been, right? But she gave affirmations to us. So I started putting that in my morning routine. Like, I am ready to take on the world. I am fabulous. Even as simple as that. Just look in the mirror and say that to yourself. Do that every day and see how you feel. See what changes. Okay? Morning routine. So rather than scrolling your phone, because when you look at your phone instantly, right? You get that, right? You're paralyzed. And then all of a sudden you realize it's 20 minutes later and you're like, oh crap, I got to go take a shower. I got to go do 400 things. Happens to the best of us. Because let me tell you something, whoever invented half these memes, I want to meet them because they're like giving me life right now. Like, no joke.
Me too, actually.
Right?
Yeah.
I cannot even, like, they're hilarious. But anyway, but you start a morning routine where you journal. So like, I journal my goals. I journal whatever it is that you want to journal about. It could be a brain dump, which is what you're thinking about that day. But it kind of starts your day off a little bit differently. Okay. And this is, again, all byproducts of doing this. And that's where the growth comes in. And you want to do like different things and whatnot. And you know, different people have different kind of events that you can go to, whatever. And so that's the cool thing too, when you're growing, and there's a personal development seminar, there's this kind of seminar, whatever kind of interests you. There's the guy Eric Worre, he's a huge network marketing guy. He does what's called Go Pro. So that's like a network marketing event where he has all these people kind of just train you. That costs money. He just did a 7-day free thing on Facebook, free, completely free of charge, with all these amazing network marketing trainers giving us information. I mean, it's like, and so you're just lapping it all up. And yeah, some of these things cost money, but you want to spend the money because you're all about the growth. Because here's the thing, what I've learned through all this, you don't know everything. I thought I did. I don't. I was so that kid, by the way. And by the way, I have kids. That's why I say teenagers, because God freaking bless my teenagers. Like, for real, they think they know everything. They talk. I mean, my daughter's away at school now, but still, like, it's like hysterical with the hormones and everything. But I'm like, oh my God, yeah, I totally thought I knew everything back then. And I didn't, and I will never will. But that is the beauty of it. We will never know everything, but that's the cool thing. Oh my God. And even still, if you hear something the 40 millionth time, it may actually stick, or you'll hear it a different way. Okay. Well, I heard that before. I used to be, how many of you, I heard that one before? Like the minute somebody talks, you right? Nope. I heard that before. Guess what? You may have, but it may resonate with you differently now than it did then. All things that would have happened 5.5 years ago. Okay. And the culture is amazing. Like it really is, to be honest with you. I have, honest to God, met some amazing people simply because of doing this, that I honestly can't imagine not having them in my, like, I can't imagine they were not always in my life. And that's in it, and we don't, and by the way, we don't always just talk about isogenics. Just let me also, so let me paint this picture. So I'm weird. I like old school disco. I like roller skating. Love this stuff. Okay? For real. Somebody I do isogenics with likes the same things like I do. No joke. A few weeks ago, they had a Halloween, and she happens to know someone who does this like pop-up roller skating thing. And they were doing a Halloween one the day before Halloween. So she and I went in costumes, roller skating. I had a onesie, if you know Monsters Inc., the green guy with the one eye, Mike Wazowski. I bought it for my daughter a few years ago when she was a senior in high school. I really did go to, and she was like some zombie person thing. And we went roller skating with, and we weren't the only ones, by the way. But that's my point. Like, had I not done, and she and I are going Saturday night. She was like, and then we went a couple more times back to, and she like, they had a 70s disco night. So we went because we both love 70s disco. And then my birthday is Monday. And she was like, oh my God, don't you have a roller skating rink in Staten Island? And I'm like, actually, we do. And no joke, reopened the beginning of November. And so we're going Saturday night roller skating again. Okay. So like, had I not started isogen, I know this, but this is my point. Like, it's not, it just happened to be that we both enjoyed the same video. And let me tell you something, it's way more fun when you're doing, last year on my birthday, fun fact, the same pop-up, it's called Dreamland Rollering. She was indoors last year because she could be. and she had this, I love the movie Saturday Night Fever, if you haven't guessed. And she had like also a 70s disco Saturday Night Fever night. And my birthday was on a Saturday last year. And I went by myself to this roller skating thing. Again, something I may not have done if I not had done isogenics, to be honest with you. So I know all this may sound like, oh my God, really? Yeah, really. I was like, you know what? No, I want to do this. The girl, Jen, who I had been going with, she wasn't available last year to do it with me. And I went and did it. So all of these things are actually feasible. Oh my God, she's so this. No, I just made the decision. That's the thing, guys. It's just making a decision. It really is as simple as that. Okay. And like I said, lifelong friendships. Okay. Now, imagine every Monday you wake up, you get an email. Congratulations, you've been paid. Congratulations, you've been paid. Congratulations, you've been paid. How cool would that be? I'm just saying, every Monday, congratulations, you've been paid. And whatever that amount is, it doesn't matter, but you know it's coming because when you put in the work and when you share with people, you're going to get paid. Okay. And the next of these slides, and I'm not going to go through them because I feel like it's just like a lot of information. And I feel like, I know when I first saw this, it was like, you know, I so, but really, I just, I don't want to do that to you people. But like I said, what happens is, in layman's terms, I'll explain it. You share with two people and you get paid. there's a certain amount that goes to it. And I actually do have the Spanish like comp plan. If you wanted me to show, I could bring that up, but you get paid. And if you do it in a certain amount of time, you get a different amount. Okay. And then when they start sharing, you get paid again. So every time you share with two people and they share with two people, you get paid. And even, and so on and so on and so on. And that's literally what happens. So let's just say you share with two people, you're getting that money from them. And as long as they keep ordering a product, you're always going to get that money from them. Now you have to have a certain amount on each side to get money. That's too intricate. But think about, 3, 4 people. And here's the other thing. We don't leave you high and dry. So all this information, I know you're looking at it, you're like right team, left team, and how to double, blah, blah, blah. And all of this information is just like crazy. I know. Think about it like this. Okay, you're here, you have a right leg and a left leg, and people just keep going underneath. And every time somebody shares something, it doesn't matter which side, you can get paid. So in reality, somebody who's all the way down, per se, can make more than you. That's the beauty of this. It's literally totally an uncapped way to earn a living, again, depending on what you want to do and what you don't want to do. There's also paperwork that goes along with it. So it's not like, here, just go do this. You know what I'm saying? We actually have so many resources to help you and to show you exactly how to do it and what to do and everything like that. And we walk you through everything step by step by step. And it doesn't matter how many times, because to be perfectly transparent, 5 years in, I'm not the queen of the compound. I'm really not. Okay. And that's okay. You don't have to know everything because somebody else knows something that you don't. And that's also the beauty of the community and sharing it and everything like that. Okay. And so that's really in essence what Isogenics is about, per se. But in terms of just overall health and wellness, I'm going to stop sharing my screen because you don't need to keep looking at it. Just look at me now. But just in terms of overall health and wellness, even like laughing, something as simple as laughing helps you as well. So I get that like this year has been just nutty. And I don't pretend to have any idea what's going on in anybody else's lives. I really don't. And again, I'm not trying to be Pollyanna about it. But one of the things I also realized is when you are looking for the bad, what you focus on, you find. Okay? So if you're miserable, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah, that's what you will attract, right?
Right, exactly. And I know some of you may be Caren crazy. I get it. I totally thought this was hokey stuff before. I absolutely was 100,000% thinking it was not. Even like Tony Robbins, there's Mel Robbins who wrote the 5-second rule. I actually met her. She's amazing. Brendon Burchard. I saw Tony Robbins. He was actually at an Isogenics event. He was 4 hours, and I was like, oh my God. And he's like 6'5". He's huge. I'm 4'11". But it was just like, whoa. You know what I mean? Like, I really thought this was hokey stuff, but you know what? It's really not. What I was finding also, oddly enough, it was a podcast with Oprah Winfrey and Sheryl Sandberg, who's I think she's the chief financial officer of Facebook. And she said, and her husband, if you don't know her story, her husband, while they were vacationing, I forgot where, he unexpectedly had a heart attack and passed away on a treadmill. And they had 2 small kids. And he was young. He was like in his 40s. And so she was talking about how was she going on, all that kind of stuff. And she was very lucky to have this amazing support system that helped her. And one of these people was like, well, it could have been the 4 of you in a car. You know what I mean? And then what? And, so it kind of made her take a step back and say, well, even in all of this tragedy, there was some piece of good. So and Oprah does this too. She started writing down the good. And so when she started writing down the good, she started finding more good. Okay. And they also talk about being grateful. Whoops, I got so passionate. I took my thing out of my ear. But what are you grateful for? And I write a lot. You don't have to necessarily do it before you go to bed or like when you first wake up. Like I do it every day. I try to think of at least 3 things. It could be as simple as when my son pitched a two hit game. Like literally, that's what I was. Oh my God, I was so grateful that Jordan, my son, pitched a two-hitter. It's as simple as that, because when you're grateful and when you're giving back to others, that's also health and wellness as well. And so you have this, like, you have the when you give, you receive. 1,000% you get back what you give. I also there wasn't a believer of that either, PTW, not even a little bit. Not even
It's
close.
amazing because at the end it's like a practice, right? Just start
Yes.
being grateful for everything, every little thing that happens to you. And then if you, I mean, with isogenics, I think that since it's a very well-founded community, it's easier to get like in the same frequency of many
Right.
people, no? Like in the same mindset. So it gets
Exactly.
easier for you, right?
Right. Exactly. Exactly. And that's the thing. I mean, the art of, the art of happiness. The art of happiness really starts with you. I mean, it really, really does. I mean, isogenics is part of it, but health and wellness, it really does start with you. What do you do for you? That's what it, in the end, because here's the thing, and I know the saying is a lot, a lot of people say this, but it's true. You can't pour from an empty cup. And you don't want to. You know what I mean? You really don't want to. And there's a meme going on where there's a battery that's very low. Like, I mean, think about it. And then they show a person who also has very like low battery or low, like, and you wouldn't let it happen to your phone. I mean, come on, we charge our freaking phones, people. I have an iPhone, charge all the time.
That's so realistic.
We put gas in our cars. If we have cars, we put gas in it. How are they going to run if we don't put gas in it? If we don't maintain our cars, are they going to run for a while? Nope. And then what happens when we don't take care of our cars? We have to pay for it, right? So that's the thing. It's about, listen, do you not taking anything away from the doctors or anything like that, but when you take care of yourself, you're less likely to have to, of course you should take care of yourself. Of course you should go for your yearly physicals and do all that stuff. That's not what I'm saying. But at the same time, when you're sick, do you go to a doctor and do you get a prescription or do you get a way to fix the illness? Yes, you do. So why not fix the health? It's just a different way of looking at it. That's the thing. And I think a lot of us have been well, why would you do that? And listen, I'm isogenics or anything of the sort, eating healthy, whatever, doesn't cure anything. Okay. It doesn't cure any disease. It doesn't do anything like that, but it helps. It really just does help. Half the things I do now, there's no possible way I could have done if I hadn't said yes. I would have been napping. I wouldn't have been able to play. My kids wanted to play. I mean, I was up at 6 o'clock in the morning, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning to go to work every day. I was commuting an hour a day, if not more. I was driving to an hour and at least a minimum of an hour. So if there was traffic, it was an hour 15, an hour and a half. Forget about it on Fridays. Thank God at one point I was working from home on Fridays, but it was hours in a car. And it's stressful sitting in traffic, because how many times you're pissed off you're sitting in traffic, right? So sometimes if I was listening to a podcast and I was doing different things, it was less stressful. Sometimes it just wasn't. But at the same time, I'm spending all of this time traveling to my job, working my job, coming home, maybe I had a game, checking homework, whatever it may be. I was exhausted. And when I was exhausted, I was miserable. Like I was snappy. So my kid could have said hi and they'd be like, what do you want now? Mom, I have to go to the bathroom. Really? Like, I mean, for real, like, I'm not joking. So that could be it too. It could be as simple as, so now, and my son actually does box walks, or when every time I get the box, like he opens up the box and he does a Facebook Live. It's like hysterical. But like we have energy, it's the funniest thing. But like we have energy drinks here in the States, but like I have the energy that I don't have to worry about. Like, I don't need to take the nap. I'm not snappy at him all the time. Caveat that all the time. Again, he's 14 and my daughter's 19. So, sometimes it just happens. So that's the point. So just think about it in terms of, wait, I can just feel good. And I don't have to be snappy. I don't have that like slouchy feeling all the time. It can be simple as that. So I know there was a lot of information that I gave, but I don't want you guys to be overwhelmed of it. But I really just think about it in terms of you, and really understand that it's okay to take care of you. It's okay to fill your cup up. And you know what? Another fun fact, it's okay to say no. One thing I for sure, yeah, sure, no problem. Yeah, sure, no problem. I'm that person. I'm like everybody's therapist. I should have been a psychiatrist. But like I was reassuring a lot of people, and when I really should, or I was doing things I didn't necessarily want to do because I thought I should be doing them, or whatever it may be. And I learned to say no and be okay with it, by the way. And guess what happened? Nobody hated me, or to my face anyway.
Nothing happens, right? It's like everything is like a story in your mind.
Yeah.
For sure. I mean, definitely, please do write a book about Who Says, because for sure I will read it. And second of all, you should include in your book all this philosophy that you talk at the beginning about not living through fear. That it's very valuable. And also, a little bit of tips about how to learn to say no, because it's also okay to say no, right?
Yeah, I mean, it is. And listen, I'm putting my information in the chat. So if you want to put it on Facebook Live or something like that.
Yeah, we will. Actually, if you can send us the Spanish slides or more info to the folks that they just got into the Zoom and register with their email, we will share it with you as well.
Yeah, sure.
And we will send them also an email with all your information. I mean, this info that you are just typing here in the chat,
Yeah.
we will put it on the
Okay.
video, and also we will send it through email so they can have an easiest way to reach you if they have doubts, and where to click so they can go online to Isagenics.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'll give them my website and things like that. But just, again, thank you for giving me this opportunity. But just really, guys, one more thing I want to say, and this will be the last thing I say, I promise, I swear. Because I know you're like, oh, she's still here. I get that, I do. But understand something. So I started this 5 years ago. I was in my late 40s. And I had no idea that this would be a passion of mine and that I'd want to now pursue this as a job, if you will. Okay. And so you may be thinking, well, can I do this? Should I do this? That kind of a thing. And the thing is, listen, again, I'm not perfect. I've been trying to go on this ride, a great adventure, for 8 years. I haven't been on it. So, but if you're feeling that you want something different in your life, let's have I welcome the conversation. I welcome the one-on-one that I can do this with you and get someone who speaks Spanish to help me out and that kind of a thing as well, because you just don't know. I had no idea. Like there was no part of me that could have expected that this was going to happen. And the other thing I want to, like you can't see it behind me, but a vision board. I also thought this was hokey too, but when I was talking about journaling and stuff like that, even if what are you dreaming about? Like, and if you stop dreaming, start dreaming about something that you can potentially want. And what all a vision board is even if you want to do it on a piece of paper, okay? I have it on, I call it oak tag, whatever you may call it. And you go onto your computer and Google the image okay? And then put it on that piece of paper, put it on that board, and then put it near you where you're going to see it all the time. Because it's very important to have a visual of what you're dreaming about, what you want to achieve. It may not happen instantly, and it may. I had Mel Robbins on my vision board. I had wanted to meet her. I thought, the true story, I had wanted to meet, I loved her so much. And I was like, all right, I'm going to go meet her someday. Like at some point, like I just knew it was something I was striving for. And this year, actually in February, I had the opportunity and I met her and I spoke to her and I had pictures with her. And I didn't realize I had her on my vision board until afterwards. It was like weird. I met her and I was like, wait a minute. I think, and then I actually had to take out the vision board. So don't think to yourself, I can't. Because if you have that little, even if it's this big of a longing for something different, even if it's tiptoeing, even if it's just having the conversation with me, and then you can say, no, you know what, I'm not ready. That's okay. But don't be stagnant and don't think this is what it is. That was like a famous phrase of mine. Because it doesn't have to be if you don't want it to be. If you want it to be, cool beans. But if you don't want it to be, at any point in your life, you can make that change if that's what you want. So I'll leave it at that.
I love it. I really love everything you say, because beyond Isaenics, it's like also what you believe in, right? Your life philosophy, and it's amazing. And thank you, Caren. Thanks a lot for being here, for explaining us all that, and also to share with us all your experiences and how you get till here and how you manage to get better and keep on going better. So thanks a lot. Thanks for your time and for sharing. Okay.
Thank you.
Then we will keep in touch, and maybe we will let you know what's going on with the emails and the people that were here on the Zoom meeting. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Good. Thank
Thanks,
you.
Caren.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.